subscriber to be able to go live, and that's when the fun is going to start. But anyway, this story is about one of the strangest firings I've ever had to do in my entire life. So I'm working out here at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, right? So it was this guy. That had been some, people have and like different things. So it had been some, say what you say, rumors, or maybe he had some warnings from other managers and supervisors or whatever. So, time goes on. I didn't have any problems with the guy before this. He always did his work, always came to work. Actually, he had like a couple jobs. And I thought he was halfway decent. And he was a halfway decent guy. We're not saying he wasn't a good guy. But what I'm about to tell you puts him kind of like in another category. So, one day, uh, I get a call on the radio and say, you got to come over here right now. I'm like, oh my God. I said, well, I could be there in about 10 minutes. I'm taking care of something. They said, I think you need to drop this one because this one is very serious. I was like, oh my God, right? So it takes a long time when you're behind the walls. We call it behind the wall at the airport, right? Because you got to go through so many areas. So, I'm trying to rush to get over there, but not rush too fast, right? So I get over there and I see this lady. She's sitting down. She's pretty distraught. And so, I at first, before I approached her, the other people that were already on scene, I asked them a few questions, about what was going on before I approached this lady and before I approach my employee. So I'm like, oh Lord, once I hear the situation, I'm like, oh my God. And so in my mind, I was like, he gotta go. I mean, really, this is calls for immediate termination. Because I've never seen anything like this before in my entire life. So I pull him to the side away from the lady because the lady does not want to see him. So I pull him out of the area. I tell the lady I'm going to come back and speak with her in a few moments. I need to speak with my employee. And I pull him to another area. And I said, what is wrong with you? This is not something that we do at any job. I'm talking about any job. You would be fired immediately. So, of course, he kind of hemming and hawing, and he finally kind of explained his side of the story, and I told him, I said, guy, that's unacceptable. So I need you to go down to the office, and I'm gonna have security meet you there, and you know, I'll see you after a while. So I have security take him down to the office and everything. And so now I have to deal with this distraught lady. So I'm like, oh my God, what the heck is going on? This is going on in my mind. And I'm like, I don't know what to say to this lady because never have experienced it. Never, it would have never crossed my mind. So I go to the lady, I introduce myself to her, and I sit down next to her. And, I try to give her some comforting words, kind of calm her down a little bit so she can kind of be clear and concise with her side of the story. So I said, well, I'm talking to her, comforting her or whatever. So finally, eventually she calms down. She gets to tell me the story. So She says that she came over into the area to wait for her flight, which is normal. This is early. I'm talking about early, early in the morning. Most people is not up at this time of morning. But she waited, on her flight. And so I said, "Well, what happened, girl? What happened?" And she said, she came in here, sat down, like I said, and she heard a vacuum running, which is normal at this time of night. Like I said, there's nobody usually up, and there's not too many people behind the wall at this time of night. So she says, I hear a vacuum, no big deal. I'm just sitting here waiting on the flight, and then the guy gets closer and closer to her, and he's looking around the area. So I'm assuming that he was looking around the area to see what type of work he needed to do, what type of materials he needed, whatever. So she said he gets closer and closer and closer, and he starts looking at her feet. Now, he's supposed to be vacuuming. Now, he has a big area to vacuum. Now, he's supposed to be vacuuming. She says that this dude asked her, could he kiss her feet? Because she had sandals on. Where I live at, it's like summertime all the time. Very rare are we actually putting on too many clothes, right? It's because it's hot. So apparently either she lived here or she was visiting and she was leaving out. I didn't even ask which one. So I said, he asked, could he kiss your feet? She said, yeah. She said, he asked me first, could he rub my feet? And then after he rubs my feet, can he put them in his mouth and suck her toes? I was like, huh? I said, okay. So now I have to make a report. I have to get the police. I have to get everybody, TSA, Homeland Security, the city of Phoenix. I got to get everybody involved in this. And he has to be fired, right? So I get somebody to talk with the lady to see her next steps and all of that. Now I have to go deal with my employee. So I say to him, I go to the office. It takes about 15 minutes to get to my office. Because, of course, I still got other employees calling, needing things. Life of a boss, it's always busy, especially in the airport. So it takes me about 15, 20 good minutes to get down there. He's sitting down there. Now he's sitting down there like ain't nothing went on. Like asking somebody to suck their feet is like something normal, right? So I'm like, oh my God. So what am I gonna say to him? So I tell him, I say, dude, you're fired. Period. I'm having security escort you out. You're out of here. YouTube, that's the end of that story. Bye.